What's good? What's good? It's your boy B and welcome back to Bryce Reacts. Hey man, you cannot fake influence, you cannot fake impact, you cannot fake people really fucking with your music. And all that being said, there's been so many conversations about is Drake authentic? Do people really fuck with him? Is it just numbers? All these conversations. And one of the biggest things that I will compare this to is just like with Kobe from media, he won't get the he's the number one from, whether it's new media, old media, they both shit on him. New media is all LeBron, old media is all Jordan, and Kobe gets shits in the middle. But one consistent group of people always push respect on his name, and that's his peers slash the players he played with. And I think having fans is great, having media behind you is great. But when niggas was actually on the court and they can't do nothing but speak highly of you, I feel like that speaks more volumes than probably any other group that could possibly judge you for real. So with that being said, I think I found a video that kind of embodies that in the same aspects, but in the music version. So we're gonna hop right into this guy doing a breakdown of just other artists that, and I guess were inspired and decided to drop music based on Drake doing something that was crazy and wavy. So let's
When
get right
Drake
into
dropped Champagne Poetry, Lupe flipped it into his own version called Diet Soda Poetry, where he just dropped straight bars for almost 5 minutes. And he said it straight at the end of the track. He said,
Left album mode with me and my nigga track. Then Drake dropped this shit, got me thinking about going back. What the
so he's saying he already came out of album mode, and then he heard Drake's Certified Lover Boy, which started off with Champagne Poetry, and it inspired him to get back in the booth. That is direct proof of my point here. And there's going to be a lot more examples here that'll show you how artists get inspired by Drake's music. So let's get to the receipts, because they are truly overwhelming. And I'm going to walk through this roughly in order, the way it actually happened, song by song, year by year. So you can see this isn't one moment. It's a 15+ year pattern. And we're going to start back in 2010 with Over. And the best-selling rapper alive decided to rap on one of Drake's tracks.
I come around like what goes around. What goes up must come down. Anyone who comes up must go down. Might as well go for the gusto now.
Eminem jumped on Over. Eminem, one of the undisputed greatest lyricists of all time. And another one of the greatest lyricists of all time, Royce da 5'9", also jumped on Over, dropping his own freestyle, and he went crazy on it.
I don't really have to go against actors. I'm the last lyrical WTF OMG factor. So back off or I blow your kneecap off. I'ma eat this beat like a bee eating vegan in the streets where the beef is. In the car going beat beat while I roll over the drums. It's just straight peel through the pieces.
So that's right out of the gate.
Yeah, and like he said, as soon as he started his career, he already showing so much influence to. I mean, obviously, it's the fan base that like supporting the music, pushing the music out there, and then the rappers hear it. But at the same time, it just speaks to a forest fire once Drake dropped on how many people. Like he said, people want to go back into album mode. People get inspired, like, oh, I like it's shit different, like, and then you get the new generation of artists and rappers that's gonna want to be influenced in sound and make shit that's similar. You get the fan base. It's like when you were able to see it, this has been a constant routine since day one. Honestly, bro, there's nothing you could do but get it, man.
Royce da 5'9", his friend Eminem, two of the greatest lyricists of all time, jumping on one of Drake's instrumental tracks. Lupe, he dropped a remix on Say Something, the Timbaland and Drake record. Now, the verse that Lupe dropped on this is one of my favorite verses of all time.
I'm balling like the tops of ponds. Circle of influence getting bigger like the ripples on the tops of ponds.
It showed a real lyricist stepping into another level after hearing a Drake record.
And that wasn't even just a super rappy ass record. Like Drake was on the hook, like going crazy. I think that's one of my first, I think that is my favorite Drake song. Like my first favorite Drake song ever. Like Say Something, bro. The beat, Drake on the hook. Then he give you that crazy wavy verse. The music video, put all that shit together. I used to watch that shit for hours on end, bro. Like I put in some major Apple minutes behind that when you talk about looking at your Spotify raps and Apple raps and shit. Like, no, like this was different. I didn't even know who he said.
This
Lupe
was
got
an
on that.
old school Drake track before Take Care days. Then 2011 comes around. Take Care drops, and Marvin's Room. Same influential gravity, but a whole different lane this time around. Chris Brown, Tiana Taylor, Sammy, Lil Wayne even remixed it, getting into a vibe that really wasn't his element at the time.
Pardon the slur, that's the purple. It feels so real, like it's virtual. In the kind of position she is versatile.
And here's what makes this one special. People didn't just remix it. They wrote answer records.
Fuck that new girl that you like so bad. She's not crazy like me. I bet you like that. I said
JoJo's Can't Do Better was huge. Rochelle Jordan's version, telling the story back from the other side. These two female artists showed the woman's perspective on the other side of Marvin's Room. And that's not just a remix, that's a conversation.
And even on top of that, that just shows, like they say, Drake don't have depth and stuff like that. It was such a the Marvin's Room vibe was such a conversational piece as far as just people fucking with it, understanding it, feeling the vibe, understanding like that moment where it was like, nah, I need to say it from my perspective. I need to say it from the woman perspective. Like shit like that, people don't give Drake conversation like credit for it. And honestly, I guess it's been so many moments and so much time has passed by, but people forget these things that happen. Like I said, it's a forest fire. And this wouldn't be Bryce Reacts unless I talk a little shit about Kendrick. It's like, I also give him credit, like, to be able to drop a control verse and people want to be inspired to drop their own version of it and stuff like that. That is a thing. That is a wave that do show impact and all that. But like Drake was doing this, and it wasn't having to mention another rapper. It wasn't having to be a diss song or anything like that. Like, it was say something over Marvin's Room, like, and it's setting off, like, we ain't even talking about R&B artists. It's setting off the whole hip hop. It's like getting hit by an asteroid, and you just see the ripple effect when these songs drop. Like, it's so many different lanes of impacting that it does. Like, it's like you can't even measure. Like, it's no amount of money, or not even, like, I forget what they talk about when they say it's priceless. Like, you can't even measure how much that shit is actually worth on the impact of some of these records that Drake and dropped over the years. Is honestly crazy.
Then 2013, and this is when it really explodes. First off was Started From the Bottom, and it becomes its own phenomenon.
Now I think my shit was muted. Let me run that back. So, like, I don't want to sound like a hater, but like some people have the diss and that straight up impacting itself. Like, people want to respond like on the control verse and shit like that. But when you look at these Drake songs he's talking about from Marvin's Room, and like how that created a conversation, a piece, like Dude said, from like women wanting to share their perspective. Like, it was such an interesting like vibe and story that Drake told and shared his perspective from, which, you know, a lot of people don't give him credit for. It was so good that people decided to make their own version to show their perspective of it. Like whether you talk about a society norm or something like that, or however you want to call it, like, or a societal conversation is what I'm trying to say. Like, they act like Drake don't make those type of things throughout the years where people are like really, you know, dissecting and breaking down his songs and lyrics. And like, then you see like the artist was fucking with it. You see the fans, like, when we talk about Marvin's Room, bro, that shit set the world on fire when that shit dropped, bro. Like, it's not too many other moments where I have seen a song do that amount of impact and damage. Like, I'm trying to think of another song like that. A Millie, bro. Like, a Millie, like, that's one of them ones. Marvin's Room. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I'm tripping. Aston Martin music. I'm trying to think of just like records where it was just like, bro, like, everybody loved that song. Everybody was singing that bitch. You could not get away from it. Like, and it was fire. Like, it wasn't a group of people like, man, that shit lame. It's like, no, everybody reciting that shit. Everybody singing the hooks. Like, it's not many records out there that's like that, bro. Like, Gold Digger for sure. Like, I ain't saying she a gold digger. That's one of the ones, like, little kids singing that shit. Like, that's some standalone shit, bro. Like, it's not many people that got them type of records.
JoJo's Can't Do Better was huge. Rochelle Jordan's version, telling the story back from the other side. These two female artists showed the woman's perspective on the other side of Marvin's Room. And that's not just a remix, that's a conversation. Then 2013, and this is when it really explodes. First off was Started From the Bottom, and it becomes its own phenomenon. Wiz Khalifa, Machine Gun Kelly, Meek Mill, Papoose, Ace Hood, so many rappers were jumping on this one. And there was even
I didn't even remember that. Like, I forgot about that happening. But I get it though. Like starting from the bottom was a record. It's just one of the ones that got a little played out for me. But to like I say, bro, there's so many examples to each phase of his career, bro.
Whole
Like,
West
different.
Coast posse cut, and it was made for the LA Dodgers. I'm not making this up.
Now some say Dodgers, others say Dodgers. Win the World Series, baby, show your Hooters.
I don't know how more people have been talking about this recently, but it actually exists. Ice Cube, Ty Dolla, Tyga, Warren G, Problem, Chino XL, another amazing lyricist.
Andre Ether will Ether, Tommy Lasorda, the Honorable, with Vince Scully commentating. We pulled the card of the Cardinals. Lead King, we string, W's in the roll to the point you think you're staring at a domain name.
All jumped on Started from the Bottom, and it was officially made an anthem for the LA Dodgers in 2013 during their playoff run. So not to mention the irony that the LA Dodgers would later very distastefully use Not Like Us to troll Drake and Toronto during the 2025 World Series after showing him so much love back in 2013, but I digress. Ice Cube, a founder of the West Coast on a Drake beat. Everybody was swept up in the undeniable influence of Drake all the way back in 2013. And that wasn't it for Nothing Was the Same, because then came Drake's Pound Cake, where Drake and Jay-Z went verse for
I remember
verse,
this.
and where Hove also says the word cake 1,000 times. But you got to look at who all got on this beat.
Peace to my nigga 40, 60 of us keep it a buck, it's real, call me.
Raekwon, a Wu-Tang member, literal architect of the game. Lupe Fiasco, again, The Locks.
Personally, I won't allow you to fuck with me. 15 in sack bundles is 150. You just had to be there, the money would come quickly.
Meek Mill, Papoose, again.
I had freedom before you had slave ships, before our people fell into enslavement.
There were so many versions of Pound Cake that Complex wrote an entire article grading all of them. So it became this public trial where you weren't in the conversation unless you were participating, unless you touched that beat that Drake released to the world. He started a discourse in hip hop. Then 2014 comes around and We Made It drops. Two of the greatest lyricists of all time, Jay-Z and Jay Electronica, jump on the track together.
Popped up a slave ship, popped up my chain and took it to Jacob, I gotta go play this. Walked in that bitch like, nigga, we made it.
Yeah, and there's so much that speaks to
Drake,
from like the music, like the beat, the concept of the song. It's just so inviting that other rappers have no choice to want to get on that type of wave. And like you see Wayne used to do that himself. Like he'll see somebody else shit and was like, man, that shit's so crazy. I gotta hop on that. I gotta do that. But not so many. Like it was, I ain't gonna lie, it was a culture of that before Drake started doing this. So I'm not gonna act like it wasn't. People that hop on records all the time and do their own remix and stuff like that. Like that's been a culture. Like they used to be probably more in the culture. Then Wayne started doing it, and you kind of, I guess people just like you kind of start seeing it fall off around the 2010s where people repeated it and did their own versions. But like for Drake, it's still alive and five, and I just think that speaks to the impact and just level of just being different, bro. Like it brings up the conversation of like, is he the most impactful rapper of all time? And I think there's only two people in that conversation for real. Oh, three. It's three. Wayne, Drake, and Tupac. Who you taking? Because I don't think Jay-Z is as impactful as everybody's saying he is when it comes to, like, yeah, he's influenced the Pusha T's and shit like that in the world, but it's like, there's not as many people trying to do shit like that. Like, Drake damn near helped change the whole genre of hip-hop in itself where niggas became more melodic. Wayne, like, you see so many people try to be Wayne, Lil Uzi, Wiz Khalifa, like it's so many different Lil Waynes juniors, like in the game since Wayne's drop. Like it's no conversation about it, and it's the same for Tupac. Like how many people has tried to be the re-embodiment of Tupac, from whether it was Meek Mill, Rick Ross, Kendrick. Like I've heard it so many times just in my era alone, and this was 2 or 3 generations removed, maybe even longer as far as like. I guess it's like 2 or 3 generations removed since Tupac had really been, like around and impactful. So yeah, like I'm obviously will argue Drake, but it's only pretty much 3 in that conversation. Biggie, I think he's crazy impactful, but I don't know. Like I think more people try to embody the energy and the rebel, the guy that speaks up and has a message. I think more people try to embody that than Biggie. But it's a conversation. Y'all put in the comments who y'all think is the most impactful rapper of all time. But with that being said, man, we're going to wrap it up here. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe. We're on the road to 500. Peace.